other hand, keep a big rock, keep a big rock, big rock, keep a big rock, keep a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another edition of the Parents' Lounge. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Oh, I've had a day, as most parents I know have had, and we have such a fun show for you tonight. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined as always by Jason Gowin.
Hello.
Partner in crime, our impressionist comedian extraordinaire who has become part of the family, even though he doesn't have children and has 2 wives, Mr. Justin Rupple. And I didn't want to waste a minute with our friend tonight, our special guest. He's one of my oldest friends in comedy, a true mentor. I get to open for him many times, and we have traveled the country doing stand-up comedy. No introduction necessary. Mr. Bill Engvall is joining us today.
Hey, everybody.
How
are you, Jamie?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Here's what's crazy. I had probably the craziest day. Got kids to school, which was a nightmare. Had to pick them up an hour later to take them to a doctor's appointment. Then they had missed lunch, so I had to get them lunch. Then I had a 2-hour window. Then I had to pick them up. Then Hannah had choir practice. Claire had something else. Then I had to get one to swim practice. And then I think there was an hour or 2 I had to try to work on my career in the day. And now I've dispersed them around the house. One's on an iPad. One is tucked away reading, and poured a cocktail. And now I'm going to have some fun times with my friends and my old pal, Bill Engvall.
You know, I got to be honest with you. Yeah, you didn't break any new ground.
No, that's going to be, that's the name of my next album. Breaking
right
No
now,
New Ground.
You're not breaking any new ground. They're going to go, oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah, none of us went through that, Jamie. Only you. That's why I think there ought to be a group, since this country is just infatuated with groups. I always say you have a place called Bitchers Anonymous. And you would go in, and everybody sits around, and you stand up and go, hey, my name's Jamie Kaler, and here's what happened to me today. And then when you got done with that long, boring story, someone would go, wow, Jamie, nobody's got it worse than you. And you could feel better. You would walk out going, okay, I was the only person to go through this. And then, of course, behind the scenes, they're going, what a jag off. You know, but
I think that's called therapy.
I already feel better with Bill. Therapy by Bill Engvall, where it's
if people would just let you rant about the stupid mess that goes on in your life, and then just go, yeah, man, I don't know how you do it, but buddy, you're getting through it. And you'd walk, okay, all right, I feel better now. And they didn't solve any of your problems. Your kid's still going to pee in the bed, and they're going to, the night before the next day, they go, oh, I got a science project due. And you go, how long have you known about this? Oh, like, you know, they told us at the beginning of school. And it's like, ugh. So
I had to go through Plan Book this morning because Hannah's got 2 books due by Friday. And so I'm like, hey, how much you got left? She's like, I got a few chapters left, and which means she probably has numerous chapters left. So and I keep telling her, Bill, I go, listen, I was you. I was Johnny Procrastinator. I remember like faking stomach ache so I didn't have to go to school because I had a test or something. And I'm trying to stop you from having to live the nightmare childhood grammar school that I went through.
I did that all the way through college.
I did too, dude.
They told us at the beginning of the semester, you're going to have to do a 15-page paper that's going to be due at the end of the semester. So you've got 9 weeks to do this. A couple of days before it's due. And this was back when we didn't have keyboards. We had typewriters. So I'd be up all night, and it was, I remember I was the worst college. I was so not ready for college at the time I went the first time. I remember we had a biology class, and one of the questions on the test, one of the tests was, a man drinks a beer, trace it through his system. So it's got to go into the mouth, the stomach, the liver, I just drew a guy, and I drew a beer in his mouth and him peeing. That was the way I saw it.
That's all. I thought it just went straight. There was a side tube.
He said, Bill, did you study it all? I go, no, but I drank enough beer. I know that.
You asked a further question. Is it Coors Light? Yes. Yeah. Well, then there you go.
That's so funny.
But yeah, but things are good. We're just kind of, Gail and I are just kind of kicking now with the retirement, and I love it. The great thing about kids is hopefully you get grandkids, because then you do whatever you want. It's like they're your own personal private toy, and you can do everything that your kids don't want them to do. And
so is it like grandparenting is the reward for putting up with your kids? Without
a doubt. That is the pot at the end of the rainbow. And it's just so funny, because like our granddaughter, whenever we go to Denver to see them, she always goes, "Can I sleep over at your house?" And we're like, "Yep." And my daughter's like, it'd be nice if she'd ask me. And so now we at least go, "Well, it's fine by us, me and Gaga, but you need to ask your mom." Of course, we've already laid the groundwork. And so, it's grandparenting is. Somebody posted a meme that I thought was really funny. It said, "If I'd have known how much fun grandkids were, I'd have had them before I had my own kids."
That's actually really funny. So herein lies the dilemma. Like, people always go, like, I enjoyed my 30s and 40s, and I had kids in my late 40s and 50. I had a child at 50. And everyone's like, "Oh, is that cool or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's great. I kind of lived a life, and now I'm having kids and stuff." But one of the problems is both my parents have passed. Like, my mom just barely met the kids, but we have no grandparents to, like, our friends go, "Hey, we're going away for the weekend. We're dropping our kids at the grandparents' house." I'm like, "Yeah, we don't have that, dude." We had to fly Kate's sister out for the weekend to watch our kids, so we go to Sonoma for a wine weekend.
Well, how old's your youngest one?
She's 8 now. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
And you're what, 50?
59. I just turned 59. We'll talk about birthdays next week.
So the great thing is, by the time she gets to be in her 20s, you'll be a grandpa. You'll look like one. You'll be 85? I'm not good with. I went to
Bill. I'll be long gone. I go, "That's my wife's second husband's problem." That's how I always. People always say, "What are you gonna do for college?" I go, "That's my wife's second husband's problem."
Yeah, that's his. Yeah.
I mean, I might be around, but this is gonna be dementia. Definitely.
Yeah, there's gonna be me sitting in a chair going, "Oh, there's that nice lady visiting me again."
And even if I don't have dementia, I'm gonna fake it. I'm faking it.
You got it. Listen, as many years as we've done the road, it's like I told Gail the other night. I go, I'm gonna go way before her. My stepfather's in a memory care thing, and it's just so sad. And I asked her this, and this is a guy's thinking. Hello, Lufkin, Texas. Hey, Lufkin, Texas.
Ronnie Lynn Fountain Jr. Holy cow, that guy. Is he a country star? Ronnie Lynn Fountain Jr. He better be with a name like that. Hello, that's the name of his album. Hello from Lufkin, Texas. Please welcome Ronnie Lynn Fountain Jr.
That was one of my favorite songs. Mac Davis said Amarillo in my rearview mirror.
Kids today are watching going, Mac Davis.
Yeah.
The Sting 2. The Sting 2.
I was telling Gail, the guys always ask questions that they really don't want to know the answer to. But we had to deal something with my stepfather, and I said, if I get like that, I go, how long will you hang with me? She goes, I'd stay with you. I go, yeah, but would you be sleeping with another guy and just, coming by to visit me so I can, tell you how bad the food is? And and she goes, no, I wouldn't do that. And I go, okay, even if you're lying, I appreciate that. It's like a guy asking his wife, how many guys have you had before me? There's questions you just should not ask because you really don't want to.
I think those are the questions. I think those are the questions we're just learning how to figure out what a lie sounds like from them.
Right. Well, there's a great old classic joke that a guy and his wife are sitting at the breakfast table, and he says, "How many?" She said, "How many guys?" How did it go? This is the worst thing. All right, so no, a guy and his wife are sitting at the breakfast table, and he says, "How many guys have you been with?" And she goes, "No, we're not doing that. We're not playing that game." He goes, "Nah, come on." He goes, "We've been married for 30 years. I'm not going to get upset. We're happily married." He goes, "How many guys did you sleep with?" And she goes, "No fighting." He goes, "Nope, not going to fight at all." She goes, "All right, 1, 2, 3, you, 4."
I thought she was gonna say like 200, and then he'd be like, "But I married you when you were 17."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, but most were in my 20s and late 30s." So
that was the other. There was a good week for jokes. The other one, the guy told me, and I literally laughed till I thought I was going to cry. This guy says to his wife, he goes, "Honey, how come you never tell me when you have an orgasm?" She goes, "Well, I didn't want to bother you at work."
I love that joke.
It's just simple.
That's like that would be like a Dangerfield joke where he's like, "My wife, she calls me." Hey.
One of my favorites is the one that my wife hates the most is the wife and husband laying in bed and, "Honey, would you get married again if I passed tragically?" Well, of course I would. I mean, it would break my heart, but I would. "Oh, and I suppose you'd let them sleep in our bed?" "Oh God, no! I'd get a new bed. No, I'd get a new bed."
What am I, sick?
"Oh, you get a new bed? Oh, okay, great. Would you'd let her use my clothes?" No, I wouldn't let her use her. She has her own clothes." "Good. Well, she's not using my golf clubs." "Of course not. She's left-handed."
That's a good one.
I got to tell you something. This just tips onto us. I'm very passionate about the ability. Everybody says, "Well, you guys are comedians," blah blah. But there are guys, and I put myself in this group that I want to keep jokes alive. Not doing on the stage, but just the jokes, because some of them are so good. And it's like, of course, now in this day and age, they got a name for it, whatever. But it's almost hard to tell jokes anymore because somebody in the room's going to get offended. But it's like it's a joke, man. It's like it's not a hurtful thing. It's like, but I love jokes. I love good jokes.
Can laugh at themselves anymore. No one. Anytime you say anything, people are like, "That really hurt my dude." It's a joke.
Yeah.
But we've had so many people who have just like, some people will just straight up insult somebody like, "You're ugly," and then someone goes, "That's mean," and he goes, "I'm joking." That's not a joke.
That's not joking.
That's the problem. Is we have too many people who use the old catchphrase of like, "I'm just joking." That's not a.
I'll tell you a great. I'll give you a great example of that. When my son was little, he could talk and get around. But one night, our pastor came over to visit with us, and Travis came in the room, and he said, "Daddy, are you going to take a bath with me?" And I said, "No, Daddy's visiting with the pastor." And Travis goes, "Daddy's pee-pee hits me right in the back." I mean, it's in front of our pastor, and he laughed. He was like, but so I thought that's a funny joke that any parent has gone through. And I told it on stage one night, and this woman came up to me after, and she goes, "You're really, really funny." She goes, "But did you notice when you did the joke about your son in the bathtub that not many people laughed?" I go, "No." I said, "I heard a lot of people laughing." I said, "I didn't see you laughing because that's an issue you got to deal with." It's like, just shut up.
I was going to say, I seem to notice a pattern. The only time people are either A, offended or want to let you know that they're offended, or B, make a declaration is because they're not very funny.
No,
Well,
or very
funny people.
mentally secure. I
Right,
can't help
funny-
what happened in this lady. Maybe in this lady's past, her dad did something. I don't know, but
Right.
like this is a
Well,
kid. And that's if for those out there tonight in internet land, if you're thinking about having a kid, you need to be aware of two things that are like they say, life, death, and taxes are always going to happen. Your kid's going to always want to shower or bathe with you, and they're going to want to stand there with you while you're on the toilet. You can mark it down. It's going to happen. And, it's like my kids, it's like, I don't care. It's like my daughter, whatever. It's like, but people get so like, oh my God, they just, you
Bill,
can't.
I had the exact same thing happen. I was bathing with the girls and they were so young. I actually took like a small towel and put it over my junk.
Right.
Mainly because, little kids just grab things
Right.
and they just kept grabbing. And so I didn't want to get grabbed or something. But I guess at one point I was getting out of the tub and the towel came down and there was a side view, I think for a second. And one of my daughters goes, "Daddy, you have a tail." And I go,
Yes, I do.
"Oh."
Taylor.
And she goes, "Daddy, how come you have a tail?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, Daddy has a tail or whatever." And then later I was like, hey, if you talk to your mother, remind her Daddy has a tail, just so she's on board or whatever. But I told that on stage too, and people came up to me after, and certain people, like some people just can't.
No, anything with kids, unless I'm just.
Why are we so still hung up on like our body? It's crazy, the puritanism of us all of like, who I like? I like the French. The French, a little more wide open. Obviously they're cool with mistresses. I'm not sure that's great, but it is what it is. But they're okay with the body.
I could totally be a nudist. I could totally be all into that.
Me too.
I was like, we went to France, and my kids had rented this VRBO, and on the beach, and like literally out the kitchen window on the beach was where the nude beach started. It was like when you could smoke on airplanes, but they go, "Oh, but you're in the row that says non-smoking."
Because smoke delineates between rows.
Oh, thank God we made the distinction. Yeah, thank God.
That was back in the old restaurant days. They gave one smoking section. I'd always, even as a kid, I was like, "What's the difference, dude?"
Yeah, well, it was funny because they were, and first of all, second of all, the people that are on a nude beach are probably not people you want to see. Now, the French do it all the time. Spain, they do it, and so. But it's like our granddaughter said they don't have tops on, and we're like, nope, they don't. It's almost like the less emphasis you put on it, then they're just off and gone. They got questions, you answer, you move on. But it was like I got to be honest, though, the female body is so much more attractive than the man's body.
Yeah, I agree.
There was like that Seinfeld episode when Lorraine. She called it, "It's so utilitarian." It's like,
the junk's on the outside. It's just hanging off.
Yeah,
it's like that. When the hose, you put a rack on the side of your house and then you coil the hose on it. It's like it doesn't look good on the side of the house. It's not ornamental.
Hey, Linda, you're right. Linda's right. See, the hippies had it right. I remember when I was in college, there was a place. There was out at Lake Travis. They had a place called Hippie Hollow, and it was a nude beach on a lake. Of course, all the rednecks would get their boats and just kind of cruise the beach in their boats. But it was people just got stoned and sat naked on the rocks. It was a pretty awesome place.
I think it's interesting that the version of the male body that when my generation, I'm 40, when my generation was growing up, we thought the only way a male body could be was chiseled, like all the definition of the male form from my examples growing up were like Abercrombie and Fitch models. Yeah. And then I became the adult and I'm looking around. I'm like, why the hell was I shaving my chest? What the? I
broke that mold right out of the gate.
Bro, I'll tell you, for 6 months of my entire life, at 6 months, I had the rippling six-pack. I was, fresh out of a relationship where the woman made me feel bad about my body. So I I just worked out until I was a shredded beast. And I got one girl I finally got we got a sexual moment together, and we get into the room and she goes, "Do you mind if I turn off the lights?" And I said, "Oh, is it me?" And she goes, "No, look at you. Look at me compared to you." And I said, "I thought this is what you want." And she goes, "No, no woman wants that. That's
That's funny. Women only look at other women.
Well,
it blew my mind.
But Justin, I think it's you make a great point though. It's media driven, which is why for a long time like well, we were watching TV and there was some commercial. It was I think it was Johnny Walker or somebody. What's with the angry models? I don't get that.
Right.
It's like, what is with? I don't want a woman who looks like this all the time. Get me a drink.
Dude. So actually, it's so funny because this is a topic I just wrote down. Is that obviously Gisele Bündchen got divorced, and now she has to come back in the limelight because she feels lost or something or other.
Yeah, that's
her only real claim to fame is, she's to her credit, she's maximized as much money as you can earn out of the fact that you're pretty hot. And guys want to bang you. Listen, she's probably a sweet.
I gotta be honest with you,
Everybody.
Jamie. I wouldn't put her.
I know, me too. Clothes hang great on her. I get it. I feel the same way. So I watched. She pops up on every show over the last week because her publicist has obviously signed her up to everything. And every interview, she says the same thing. I'm such a private person. I just really want to be left alone. And I go, you signed up for the interview, jackass. I'm so over celebrities coming out and then doing this big profile where they're made up. There's a makeup artist, everything's going on. Then they just go, I just want to be left alone. And I hate my fame and my celebrity. And you're like, dude, you're worth $1 jillion. Just disappear. You're a great mom. You have great kids. You eat health. We don't need your cookbook. They're just recipes you took from somebody else. You're not a chef. You're just a hot milk.
Well, there's so many publications that they just. You imagine being married to Jennifer Aniston?
I feel bad for her in a way.
I don't know her. I always like her, but every other week she's on People Magazine or Us Magazine.
I know. Every breakup is hers, and she has to see Brad Pitt. By the way, her ex-husband in it. I did do Friends. And can I tell you, among the cast, she was by far the nicest person there.
I had heard that. I would
assume.
She was the one who was like, welcome to our show. And this was the week I did the show the week they were all on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. They were signing copies. It was a closed set. It was super tense. Everyone was nervous. Really, no one else on the show even spoke to me, but she was the only one who was like the nicest person on earth. And I was like,
my thing is, I just have this vision that, like, there's never a time when I see her walking around in ripped pajamas and a football jersey.
I know.
And fuzzy. It's like, just because the publicist.
She would have been the coolest. Like, she would have been the coolest chick you would have met in Chicago.
I wanted to share this with you because that's exactly what I was thinking, you guys. I think, and tell me if I'm right about this, I think that women look at Gisele like sports car driving enthusiasts look at Lamborghinis. Okay? Yeah. Most people don't want to own a Lamborghini. They're like, that's the maintenance it takes to have a Lamborghini. You don't even want to it takes an hour just to get it out of the damn garage, right?
Yeah,
you got to take the top off.
Travis Kelce with Taylor Swift. I want to call him and go, hey, you're a all-star Hall of Fame football player. What are you doing with a girl who's probably awesome, but going to be pretty much a headache? Go start hooking up with the Victoria's Secret models. What are you doing? You want some girl to write a song about you? Don't do that.
That's what's so sad about our society right now. I was watching that game. And I got nothing against Taylor Swift. I've met her. She's fine. A super nice girl. But I don't need to see her every time Kelsey gets. And by the way, here's a grown man who tried to slip her a friendship bracelet. Can we just you're a grown man, dude. You're not sitting.
This one's Gronkowski. Gronkowski married the hottest. He's like just grabbed the hottest woman on earth. He's like, I'm out. He's doing just fine. She doesn't care. She's not in the press. The same with Jeter. Jeter's like, yeah, I'll take.
Does it feel to you boys like it's like the same PR rep? Because I
pushing
felt
numbers,
like,
don't you? It's clicks. It's clicks.
Bro, Kelsey, I didn't see him on a single commercial my whole last 7 years. This guy's been an NFL superstar. Suddenly this year he's in 9 of them, and now he's dating Taylor Swift. I'm like, did he just switched? Just look up his PR rep.
Like he got like 300 million new followers in like 30 minutes.
They said,
is that right? Is that right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was some
jersey.
ridiculous number. Like it was like 300 million followers in 30 minutes or something.
Well, they said his football jersey jumped 400% in sales from since the
Holy
game.
That should be the song. The
what's
song should
happening.
be like.
Dude, let me tell you something. Taylor Swift is. People may argue with me on this, and I'm just telling you, Taylor Swift is what the Beatles were. I was in Nashville. I don't mean musically, but I was in Nashville. She sold out that arena 3 shows in a row. She sold out like 8 in LA.
Yeah.
And she's bigger than life. I mean,
and to her credit, she's a songwriter. I really give her props and credit. And yes, she's everything. But of course, it does feel, and it's not her fault. That's part of the game is publicity. But yeah,
the Beatles is the closest she has, because honestly, I was going to say Michael Jackson, but Michael didn't write his own lyrics.
Right.
He was getting them from great other lyrics. This woman is gone.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is, it all ties together, because you know that you're watching Travis Kelce date her, and then you're like, that's going to be her next hit, a love song and then a breakup song, because that's how elevated this woman is. So you're right. I don't know if there's been any individual like her.
I can't think of one.
The closest we had maybe is
I'm
Dolly Parton. Maybe Dolly Parton. That's about as close. But that was not as popular as Taylor.
She has a new song out too. She just covered 4 Non-Blondes. What's going on?
Sure did.
Hey, by the way, 80-year-old Stones new album. By the way, I've told this many times, but in 1982, I bought tickets to the Rolling Stones farewell tour, and I drove from New Hampshire to Hartford, Connecticut, to watch their absolute last
farewell tour
they were ever going to go on.
I think they're still on it, Jamie. They're
just still on it.
It's just a 30-year tour.
I love this stuff. I love
hear
the
they won't be doing Brown Sugar in concert anymore?
They can't. Although it's, this song is pretty accurate. It's about an era, and it's but it's
because it's 17, because it's underage. What is it?
No. Brown Sugar is about it's an ethnicity thing. I think I thought it was going to be, because there are some songs that we go back and listen. Is like, she was only 16, and you're like,
by the way, if you listen to those lyrics, like, what? Yeah.
I mean, the Beatles. Well, she was just 17. If you know what I mean, and you're like,
we go back in time and start canceling everybody.
We're not. I'm not canceling. I'm saying,
if we do, Charlie Chaplin's gone. 14-year-old. Errol Flynn. Every star of the early movies.
Anytime somebody tries to criticize someone who's gone, I'm like, that's about the dumbest thing I can think of.
I know.
They're gone. The whole thing now of, I've got a real issue with that. We can't erase history. And this
you have to learn from it.
Not only from music, but to the stat, like where we have a place in Denver that was called Stapleton area, because the old Denver airport was Stapleton Airport. Somebody found out that he owned slaves. Everybody owned slaves back then. And I'm not saying we gotta. You don't have to celebrate this guy, but what? Just because a neighborhood's named after, what? And there's people. I get it. People got their, but I just feel like we have to learn from history, and we can't learn from it if we just try to whitewash it, erase it.
I think what'll happen, and as Jason and I can speak to the 40s and under, the generation that's doing this, the youngest generation is only going to stop doing this when we actually come for their shit. And what I mean by that is, there are a lot of things right now that they love and hold on to that they think are pure and righteous and true and good. And when they run out of the stuff in history to go after, they'll come at society will go after their stuff because it'll come.
Like
and when all,
what's that for instance?
Well, I'll give you if Harry Potter, if the essence of Harry Potter was destroyed, or we went after something like Fortnite, or we went after something like Minecraft, and we found out in derivative, like turns out the people who made Minecraft are racists who, were sexually abusive. And they're like, no, not Minecraft. Not,
I know.
Well, see, but here's what I can do. I can separate the difference between
J.K.
Minecraft
Rowling
people.
has been kind of canceled in a way, right?
Yeah,
but Harry Potter lives on.
Right, but guess what the kids still do? Watch Harry Potter. Because it's all about
true.
And maybe what I think is happening is this is their way of saying, I'm attacking the older generation. I'm bringing you down because I'm pointing out the falsehoods. And you're like,
yeah, you can have it.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, exactly.
Here's my question for Bill. In any point in history over, I don't know, a 20 to 30 year gap, has there been a more incremental change than we are dealing with our children? Because my father went from, television in the 50s to punk music in the 80s, but there was never this. I mean, I'm on 20 apps. One of my kids' teams is on Mojo. One of my kids' teams on TeamSnap. Every day I got to get up. There's 200 email messages from getting a phone in 15 years ago to all of a sudden this intense. It's incrementally and exponentially becoming so much more complicated.
Well,
it's insane.
I blame it on a lot of this. When the cell phone was introduced and it became where anybody could afford one, that's where I feel like the biggest changes in our society have happened. Because before it was just word of mouth, I just feel like that when we picked up this and the iPad and it's got really good things, but
it's not making our life easier.
No, it's not making our life easier.
Technology is going to make your life easier, and now it's exponentially harder. I did a bit about I used to just drink a cup of coffee and read the morning paper, and it was chill and relaxed. And if somebody really needed to get a hold of me, they called me. Now I wake up to 200 must reply immediately emails. Then I got to go to Facebook, Instagram. I see all these messages from people coming everywhere that if you don't respond in 10 minutes, I'm like, dude, are you alive? What's happening to you? And you're like, there's this urgency.
We become impatient. We're very.
We have become impatient.
Tabitha says I have 1,000 passwords. I'm so used to going forgot password, send me email, new password, bling dong, ding dong, do, which is 4 minutes, 5 minutes of my life. And it's every day.
Apparently that phrase really got to Jason.
It totally
ding dong, ding dong, do, everybody.
Ding dong, ding dong, do. I mean, it sounds like some Jeff Bridges. How is Jeff Bridges?
Man, my password is bling dong, ding dong, do, man. Try it with an exclamation point, with an asterisk. Just do it all. Like Bill said, come on.
I worry about, y'all's kids. What's it going to be like when they're grown up?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, the other thing is, now I don't even know how people meet anymore. It's like
they meet online.
Thank God I don't got to worry about that, but I wouldn't know the rules of dating now. It's like nobody, like when I was grown, and I'm not saying this was the best place, but you went to a nightclub, you met a girl, you say, hey, you want to exchange numbers. But you met them. It was like now this whole swipe and this.
Tabitha says AI will do it for them. You don't need, dude. Here's the deal: when people meet somebody now, there's no surprise because you've read their whole profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll put an interesting quandary out here to you guys. There was a study that came back from Cambridge over 100 years that asked people across happy marriages, do you think it's similarities in your marriage or differences? Is it opposites attract, or is it similarities? And it turns out 89% of the things that you like in the person is a similarity.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked that is if AI could go out and find online, all right, we looked out there. We found somebody who is the exact same similarities. Like really found them. It's not even who's on eHarmony or who's
Right.
on this dating site. We found somebody who is 89% just like you, and then we found exactly the type of person you think is attractive. Now, if you're a single person, would you look at that group and go, yeah, I'm going to pick from that? Or would you let the world pick for you? Because a lot of people suggest that the reason why we have the mates we do is because of proximity.
Yeah. Randomness. Happen to be
What if,
crossing paths, you were in the right
theological
mindset.
question.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
What if-
want somebody that's just like me. Gail and I have been married for 40 years, and I joke with her all the time. I go, there's people in our college that are going, they're still together.
Yeah. Well, especially as a touring comedian, Bill, we've had a lot of comics on our show, and the fact that you were able to keep a marriage going, you are maybe in the top 3%. I mean, I don't know anybody who's kept it going.
I will, and you guys, this, that to find a partner who can handle this business, you latch onto them because there's not many that can.
But she didn't know, Bill. When you started out, you guys were together early. She didn't know what was coming.
She didn't know well, none of us knew, but I will say this, and she said this, that she believed in me, that she believed that I was going to do something. Right. Now, what that was, I don't know, but it's like, I just don't know that, God, it would drive me crazy if it was someone who was just like me, because good Lord.
I don't think my wife and I would survive our twins if we were exactly the same. Like
it said out. In defense, let me give you what it said. 89% similarities.
Right.
So what they meant by that is things like, do you like similar foods? Do you have a similar taste in religion? Do you laugh at the similar things? Do you like similar music? And instead, what I was thinking was that it would be 50-50, like I only like 50%. But they were like, no, the 11% that's different is the stuff that keeps it entertaining. Like she likes spicy food. I don't. Right. They called it in the article, non-consequential differences adds variety, but you need some things to be right on. Like you don't see too.
I get you. I mean,
if you have a difference in religion, you're in serious trouble.
Tough.
That's
because all of a sudden, once kids get involved, that's why we've talked many times about the fact that you should take a test, not like Diner, where it's a Baltimore Colts test that he makes his wife take, which I've just dated myself on a Barry Levinson film from 1980. But the fact that you should go how about raising, the test should be about how you would raise your kids and how you would punish them, how you would do this. And those better line up, because otherwise you're in for
that's the thing with being a parent. I one of the hardest things, but I firmly believe in it, is that you and your partner have to be on the same page when it comes to kids, especially when because kids will work the system. They know they're brilliant.
Oh, they smell it. They smell the difference, and they fight.
They'll come to you, go, hey, can I go to Susie's house? And you go, yeah, but you better ask your mom. Okay, Dad said I could go to,
Yeah.
Especially being touring comedians. Gail one time pulled me aside and just said, look, when you come home, it can't be party daddy's home, because we have set this schedule. And when you come in, you throw a monkey wrench into it, and I got to start all over again. She goes, you can have all the fun you want, but just there's, the bedtime's at 9, it's 9 o'clock. Don't say, well, Dad is home for a week. You can stay up till 10.
That's what my wife does, Bill.
That's got to be the toughest for you, though, Bill, because you don't want to be the disciplinarian when you get home. You haven't seen them.
And you got to be. There was times that stuff happened, and I had to deal with it once I got home with it, which is 2 or 3 days later, and it's just. But it's really, really hard. But in the end, like Gail and I were just talking about this the other day. I can't tell you how blessed our kids are grown-ups now, and they didn't make that fatal mistake. They didn't end up in jail or on drugs. And it's like, you look at the mess that's going on around in this world, and you look at your kids and go, got it pretty damn good.
Dude, that's all we hope for these days. So many of my friends whose kids were during the pandemic in high school, like lost a year or two, like even their senior year of high school or something. And those kids are utterly destroyed. And the parents are, to all you really hope for. I did a thing about sports today where I was like, your kid's not going pro in sports, dude. Let it go. Stop with this incessant garbage. You're 5'8", you're slow, you can't jump. Why would you think your kid's going to the Olympics?
I got a better story than that. Travis was probably 5. And Travis was such a great kid as far as sports. Once the sport was over, he was off doing what like he wasn't big into going to the camps and stuff. And so they were having a basketball game. And if you've ever watched a 5-year-old basketball, it's just, I call it the beehive. It's just this group that just runs around by the ball.
It's me coaching soccer, Bill. Get away from each other.
Yeah.
Get away from each other.
They're not gonna. So Travis's team was up by 1 point, and I forget what the situation was, but his team there was like 20 seconds left in the game. I'm packing up, ready to go. And Travis's, I know the other team shot and missed. And so, but the ball went out of bounds. So it was Travis's team, and they had to go the length of the court. And they're up by 1 point. And this poor kid on Travis's team was dribbling the ball, and he fell. And of course, he's 5. So he's crying. He's laying on the floor. And a dad, like 20 feet from me, from the other team, starts screaming, "He's stolen! He's stolen!" And I'm like, he's 5. He doesn't even know what stalling is.
Jamie, I was telling you earlier today, I heard a mom tell her maybe 5-year-old kid at soccer this weekend that if they don't win the game, it makes the family look bad.
Oh
no!
That should not.
That's when your
take those kids away. That's That's going to create a serial killer. That creates a serial killer.
I'm coaching both kids' soccer teams, and just
for
to
you,
watch
buddy.
other people. I don't think I can do it again. It's so painful. I can't even tell you.
Well, you know what? You really see the true,
right.
Like I remember when I was in college, one summer I umpired for Little League. And in Little League, at this small town, there was me and there was a guy at second base. So we had to, the two of us had to cover the whole thing. And I had this guy in the stands just riding me all game. I'm trying to figure out who's at third, who's at home, and I've got to call balls and strikes. And I was in college. I finally turned this guy and go, "Dude, here's the mask. Here's the protector. I'm doing this for beer money. These are Little League kids." And he finally chilled out, but it was just like, I saw my daughter's soccer game. I saw a whole side of the other team fans got kicked out of the park. They played at that Beverly Park there in the umpire just said, "The whole visiting team is gone. Bye."
Yep.
I've seen people, by the way, not a few, many parents are killed in fights.
Yeah.
At like a junior high school basketball game in Vermont where they break into the dude just got killed at a Patriots game.
Got slugged in the head.
Yep.
I saw it at a Dodgers game. I've seen it at a where you're like, wow, you must really love that team, dude. I'm the opposite. I go like, I couldn't care.
I used to ump baseball and soccer. Okay. And I would take pride, Bill, in doing the, when the guy would chirp up in the backstop. "Oh, come on up the next strike." I would take that long delayed. you know, like, I don't know, you know, like really let it sit in that I was intentionally doing it to piss. You know, like outside a strike is a ball is a strike, and I would look back at him like, I'm the crazy one. I'm the idiot doing this for $12. You can't screw with me.
Dude, I'm coaching Claire's soccer game a couple weeks ago, and it's our first game, and our team is, God love them, but they're, you know, club has pilfered any kid with any talent because the club guys it's a money-making business. And they have a team. And
everybody's got to have the same matching bag.
The dude, what he does is he walks around AYSO and he pilfers and he goes, "Hey man, your kid's got some real talent. You know what? Have you thought about club?" And you go, "My kid," and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Obviously, you know, she's a diamond in the rough or whatever, and they want your money. And so we're playing AYSO. So the kids mostly are AYSO, are not. They're not club kids. So they're just the kids that are trying to have, they're trying to have fun and do a sport or whatever. And so.
AYSO stands for all your Saturdays occupied.
Bingo. So our first draft pick, the girl we chose first on the team, is also playing club, which is conflicting. Right. So she's our oldest player, our best player, and she hasn't really shown up at all yet. We haven't. She came for one thing once, but I barely know her. She hasn't played at all, and so we're getting murdered. The first game. The other team kicks off and they just dribble down. All of our team gets out of the way. Like they were like, "Oh, I don't know how this game's played. Am I supposed to get out of the way?" The kid dribbled over the end line for the first goal. And I'm just like, wow. And you can only scream so much about like, "Hey, play defense" or whatever. And so one of the parents comes over and goes, "Are you going to scream anything and you got to tell them what to do?" I go, "Yeah, that's going to help.
That's going to solve all our problems."
I said, "You're more than welcome to have at it." And absolutely. And they start yelling from the sideline, "Back up, get down." I go, perfect. That's really.
Yeah. But I'm a firm believer that parents should not be allowed at their kids' sporting events.
Dude, they're
you just watch it streaming at home.
Not even that. They come home and you say, "How was your game?" And the kid will say, "We lost" or "We won." And that's all you're going to get. And that's all they need.
Yeah. Especially at that age.
I like that.
I kind of like that a lot, Bill. I like that a lot because it's so much stress.
My dad works so many
it's stress
hours.
On the kid. Yeah, it's stress on the kid, stress on the parent to make it.
Can you
to feel like they're a bad parent.
My dad, when I played Little League, you know, they never hollered at us. They never, you know, like, "What are you doing?" You know, it's like they were just there. It's like just support, like, "Hey, great job, man."
Narcolepsy says I played better when my dad wasn't there.
Yeah. Because there's no.
I wouldn't see my dad. All I'd see is behind the bleachers. I'd see the cherry from his cigarette.
Yeah,
the bright cherry, and I'd see a can of Schlitz on the top. Yeah. He'd be standing behind the bleachers with a Schlitz and a cigarette.
Is that your boy, Mr. Kaler? Nah.
So
yeah, it's you know, and I think you nailed it, Jamie. When you listen. 95% of these kids are not going to go pro. They're probably not even going to play in college.
Even higher, yeah.
1% are going to play in college.
1% are going to make 95% of them are going to stop playing when they stop offering a snack at the end of the game.
Right.
Hey, where's my orange slice? I was promised orange slice.
Well, what a crappy snack.
I think we all know what's happening is that those parents are the ones who thought they were going to make it. And they thought if they had just been the right height, the right weight, and had the right classes or support, they could have made it. So they're really just pushing to see if their DNA could have been pro DNA. You know what I mean? The kid doesn't want that.
They're thinking scholarship. Most of them are thinking college scholarship. And what's funny is they're spending, if they took the money that they wasted on club, whatever sport that kid's trying to play, and put it into an interest earning account, you'd have enough money for college by the time college came.
Yeah.
We're just really focusing on trying to keep our three out of prison.
Yes.
But Jason, these days they can get a degree in prison.
That's true.
Free degree in prison.
They learn how to do tattoos, so they've got jobs waiting when they get out. It's not a
very lucrative job, Bill. Yeah. A very lucrative job, tattoos, right?
Trade. Yeah, I like it.
Jason, I got most of my tattoos from your kids. That's crazy.
Yeah, Anthony's really coming along with some of the artwork. He does a really
Yeah, I've heard the dragons are probably the big strong point. I love those.
Well, the funny thing is, like I've been coaching this thing. I've seen some kids that are really, really, really good. But have you, Bill? You've been around professional athletes. They're not like you and me. I mean,
No.
they are.
Why do you think? Why do you? That's I was watching. Like I'll give you a great example. Is golf.
Mhm.
They were talking to, I think it was Brandel Chambly, who said, "I wish that golf magazines would stop with the covers of like hit the ball like Dustin Johnson. You're not going to hit the ball like Dustin Johnson because you're not Dustin Johnson.
No.
You know, it's like it's athlete that elite level
It's crazy.
is such above and beyond where like nobody ever watched the Engvall kids play sports and went that's Olympic material there. You know,
Those kids in golf are. I mean, Tiger Woods' kid just shot a 66 in a regional qualifier. He shot a 66 with Tiger, and that's the other thing is like Steph Curry is Del Curry's son. They're all children. The genetics is insane. And with golf,
and by the way, what kind of pressure do you think's on Tiger Woods' kids if he goes pro? He's going to be nothing but compared to his dad.
Always.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are.
At least he's not trying to make the cut to make his rent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
trust me, he's not going to have to go through the Corn Ferry Tour. Somehow the PGA
as a guy who was in the acting world with kids in acting class, and I'd be like, oh, and I'm like rushing over to my bartending or catering job trying to make my rent. And then I met a bunch of kids who, you know, the Nepo kids who are like, hey, what do you do for a living? And they go, oh, no, I'm an actor. And you're like, oh, what have you done? And they're like, oh, yeah, I did a student film and I live in this beautiful house with this BMW. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I guess. It makes life a lot easier when you don't need the job.
Right. I will say this. We all, I mean, Jamie, Bill, Jason, I don't know how much you are wasting your life with golf like we are. I will tell you that I have noticed, especially with golf or something like football, when I meet those professional athletes, I'm like, oh, no offense to them. Most of them are lacking some other big chunk of their life that they had to cut out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I have
free.
Yeah. When I talk with them, they're like, what was that show? What was that movie? I was, playing sports. I was on the course. I was or they are very serious or something to that level. And it's like, oh, that's why I didn't go. There was the level of the physicality and the mentality. They cut something else out.
Andre Agassi those kids don't go to high school. They went to Bollettieri Tennis Academy at the age of like 12. Lionel Messi went to the soccer club when he was, I want to say like 7 or 8. They saw it then, and then it's over. I don't know if he can read and write. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Because
which is why
that system.
Not even the education, you lose a part of your life because I see that I have a buddy of mine who went he teaches golf in Miami now, but he went over to China he taught at the Annika Sorenstam School of Golf over there. He told me, he said he had Chinese dads coming up to him saying, I'll give you $250,000, take my kid to the United States and enter him in tournaments.
Yep.
And he said half the kids were good, but they weren't going to make it on tour. It was like, but they look at, and I think part of the problem is, and I don't care if it's acting or sports, the money has gotten so stupid that people now look at it as a business like, okay, if I get my kid really good,
that's it.
Wow.
And it's like, I listen, that's just going to sound very hypocritical, and I'm really aware of that. I made a very good living doing what I did, but were my tickets overpriced? Without a doubt. What the show they got, was it worth that $75 ticket? And I think the same way you look at baseball, football. Look what it costs to take a family of 4 to an NFL game.
It's stupid.
You're out $2,000.
It's $200 to park in LA. At SoFi, $200 to park your car before you
not
walk
even
in the
close.
booth. Joke.
Yeah, but I think listen, I had this discussion with a friend of mine the other day, and I'm going to leave you on this because I've got to run. the pendulum seems to have swung just so far, and it's got to start coming back. I mean, it's got to, or I think we're not going to do well. It's got to start coming back to normalcy at some point.
It's not sustainable this way.
Well,
no.
It's French Revolution. Get the guillotine out, because I don't know about you, but every 20 minutes I get another buzz on my phone that says, "Oh, your credit card bill just got dinged for your weekly repost on Instagram, your annual Dropbox, your everything's another monthly charge. Oh, you have Adobe, you have Final Cut. That's a monthly charge. Teleprompter. Every app is like, hey, even the one I have for my kid's soccer team." Every time I go on it, it makes me get rid of the page that goes, "Hey, would you like the pro version for $42 a year?"
Yeah.
No, I don't want the fucking pro version. I don't fucking care anymore. Stop
This episode
fucking
should be
milking
called,
me,
I
you
don't want
fuck
the
sticks.
fucking pro version.
I don't want the fucking pro version. I'm sorry.
But what I love is
Bill.
when you go to download the app, it says free.
Always
of course it
free.
does.
Yep.
If you
Always
do that, put it on your
purchases.
phone.
In-app purchases. Yeah.
If
This
you
is an
want to
app I'm
use it,
trying
no,
to. I'm talking to the other parents. I could have just done a fucking text chain, and the other coach is like, "No, we're using Mojo. We're doing Team Snap." Why?
Team Snap. Oh
Fuck.
my God.
One of my
kids are
college
grown.
buddies just did this long diatribe. He was trying to Facebook me. I go, "Dude, here's my phone number. Fucking call me."
Yeah.
We live. He was my roommate for like 3 years. He's contacting me on Facebook. I'm like, "Dude, here's my
Oh,
phone
my
number. What
God.
do you do?" I know.
I'm
That's
so
where we're at.
glad. I'm so glad I
listen,
grew up with this.
Bill,
Guys, it's always a treat.
Yeah.
Nick,
Thank
listen,
you very much, man.
Here's one thing really quick before you go, because you always have such great advice. And this past hour has been an amazing array of advice. But now that you're grandpa, Bill, we always look for that one little kernel of nugget. You got anything for us that you might want to share to parents out there that might save them a little trouble?
Oh yeah. It is going to sound harsh, but save your money. You don't need to buy your kid's first birthday. You don't need to go to buy them presents. To get no presents, all you do is get a box, a wooden spoon, and a pot, and just set it in front of them. Everybody has a good time. Let's be honest, a kid's birthday through the age of about 4, it's for the parents. It's not for the kids. You don't care. They don't care. They want to eat ice cream and they want to hit the cat with a wooden spoon. Gail and I wasted so much money on toys. I was at my daughter's house the other day, and it looks like a Toys R Us exploded.
Yep.
Oh.
And I thought, we should just go get her some Tupperware. That's what the grandson does. He just bangs his Tupperware around and just has the time of his life.
Somebody
won't
bought
remember it anyway.
Somebody bought my kid $200 Uggs, and she was like 6 months. I was like, she can't even walk. I'm not, and she's gonna outgrow these things in 3 weeks. I'm not sure why you would waste your money, but that's
Yeah.
honestly.
And by the way, it's Uggs, and you live in LA. Let's not.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the king. Here's your sign, Bill
You guys
Engvall.
are the
Thank you so
best.
much for joining us, brother. Please come back soon. Oh, it's
Anytime.
always a treat.
Anytime.
I love you, brother. All
You
right,
guys stay safe.
see you, buddy. That's so funny. All right, let's bring this thing home. It's so funny having Bill on. I love it. It makes me laugh.
It's the easiest hour we do.
I know. I
Well,
can honestly.
it's so fluid, and it's nice having somebody who agrees with you all the time, Jamie. That's good.
Is that good? I think it's good. What, did he agree with me? Why? Just because we're old and we're on the same page?
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, I was driving that night home.
I get it. Hey, before we go, let's be honest for a second that the three of us are going to be live in Sayre, Pennsylvania, 9 days from now, 10 days.
9 days.
We fly.
I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm
so
pumped.
excited. We have so many different, honestly, the show might be several hours because if I were you and you're coming to the show, I would get a
Praise.
babysitter that can stay late because I'm not.
There's only 4 sitters in this entire town. It's things are going to be rough here the next.
Get
So
to
sitters get a
now.
rate of like
$200 an
$70
hour to get a sitter.
Yeah, it's like $700 an hour by the time it's all said
So
and done.
both the VIP sections, I believe, are sold out for both.
The VIP tickets are gone.
Yeah.
The first sections are pretty close.
Yeah, there's
to
a
being
handful
gone.
of tickets for both nights, Friday and Saturday, I think. So, and
How
we're doing
many?
radio
Go
this
now.
Friday, so they'll probably sell out. We've sold out the last couple of years, so we're very excited. Thank you to all who have tickets. We have a great show coming for you. Our friend Katie Bame is opening up for us, I believe. Is that right? She's going to be our resident mom, and she's going to be. She's going to keep the
link
3
if
dads.
you would like to
There's
join
the
us.
ticket link.
Air Pennsylvania, easy access to fly into Scranton, Pennsylvania, or Syracuse, New York, or Buffalo.
Yep. And before we wrap this, we should really see what Jeff Goldblum feels about next week's show.
Let me tell you, I'm very excited. I hear many good things. I hear that it rains nectar in Sayre. I also hear Elmira's up north, and that's a spooky name. Very spooky, frightening, very spooky. Also, Jason. Jason might be bringing some puppetry, not of the penis, and Jamie's gonna be intoxicated. Yes,
That's
I'll
true.
be drunk
You have a
before I land.
bartender on the stage.
Before I
there
land,
will be
I
a
will
bartender. Right. Yeah,
and you'll be doing some jazz piano like you normally do, right, Dr. Goldblum?
I will be scat skitted bat bow
Tinkling the ivories.
Right, tinkling and underneath them too.
Hey, next week, speaking of next week, Mindy Sterling from Austin Powers and her son Max will be here with us.
Mindy Sterling's one of my favorite.
She's so wonderful.
One of the funniest actors you've ever seen. I always put her up there with like Madeline Kahn and Cloris Leachman in that realm of like genius character actors who steal every scene that they touch. She's solid gold, and she's also one of the nicest people I've ever been around. So we're very excited for that show. We have a lot of great guests coming up over the next few weeks. Be sure to catch us live if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or wherever our podcasts are. We are live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, assorted sundries over StreamYard, and occasional other pickup shows that we do. Anything else?
Thanks, Freddie.
Anything else?
No,
I'm just very excited. I'm just so excited for this show, man.
Pumped. So, hey, listen, we thank everyone for being part of this, and I hope you got a couple laughs out of it because obviously Justin doesn't understand. He's kind of he just goes along for the ride. He's got two. Pacino's got 2 wives and a young. Oh,
I got a new baby boy. I'm 94.
All right, stop it. Let me get out of this show so we can all go. We can go.
We had somebody today who was a business that was so excited about the video that Justin did of the other sponsors that they themselves became a silver sponsor today.
All right. Perfect.
Listen, I hope.
Bada bing, bada boom, in the words of Jamie Kaler.
I had the worst day ever, and now I feel fantastic. One cocktail. Shimmy, who's got the jackpot? Oh
boy.
All right, that's it. We're out of here. We love you all. We'll see you guys next time here on the Parents Lounge. Follow, like, subscribe, write a review. Come join, share.
Peace live.
And bye-bye.